Maybe you could stand close to the right. All right, sounds good. I already started, man. And we are live, y'all.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. All right.
Thank you for attending the Stop False Police Reporting Rally. This is our fourth rally, and we are going strong. My name is Dr. Tawana, and this is Anthony Dulce, and we are the co-founders of the Stop False Police Reporting Group. In 2 days, we will make our 1-year anniversary from when Anthony and I came together based on our own experiences of wrongful arrest. We were both victims of false reporting by either civilian or police officer. And because we were so impacted and we were in so much pain and we were not necessarily getting the support we needed, we decided to join forces. And we put our experiences on paper and turned our pain into passion. So what we are looking to do, our call to action, is get legislation changed so that individuals can no longer weaponize false reporting against another person. We want to end the practice of either civilian or law enforcement using false accusation to take the lives of an innocent person. We no longer want people to lose time, income, time away from their families, have to take time off to go to court to fight for their innocence. Long gone are those days, and we need you to support us. In June of 2020, Senator Kevin Parker passed the 911 false reporting bill. And the bill covers false reporting, and it holds civilians accountable, but not to the extent that we would like. Individuals in that bill are protected based on their protected categories, but it still doesn't go far enough. When you look at the experience of myself, of Anthony Dulce and Ibrahim Berry, who was wrongfully deported, that bill does not cover our experiences, nor does it hold people accountable legally for false reporting against another person. So what we want from Senator Kevin Parker is for him to amend the false reporting bill that he has out today. We want changes because his mind was in the right place, his heart was in the right place, but what we actually need is to give that bill some teeth by holding people accountable. When we hold people accountable by pushing for felony charges, that will be a real deterrent for people to not make accusations against innocent people. What we want is uniformity. We want both law enforcement and civilians to be held accountable with felony charges. Second, we want to include additional people in our protected classes. And those additional people are individuals with visible and invisible disabilities. And when we say invisible disabilities, we mean people that are struggling with mental health conditions. Because we know that that's a very vulnerable population that gets overlooked, and they are feeders into the justice system or injustice system. Third, we want the right to know. We want individuals to know why their charges are dismissed. We want full transparency, right? Because it should not happen that an individual has false accusations against them and go to court and fight and pay attorneys just to never know why the case was dismissed. And that happens. How can you live your life not knowing what you've been through and why you've been through it? Fourth, we want individuals to be held accountable both pre-conviction and post-conviction. In my experience, my brother was wrongfully incarcerated for 6.5 years for a crime that he didn't do. The officers' backgrounds were never exposed. Never had a background check on officers. Just the two individuals that were accused. We want to level the playing field. If an officer makes accusations against an individual, we want to know that that officer has integrity. Because we do have a crime problem. We absolutely do. We have individuals that are committing heinous acts against individuals. And we're not saying we want to defund. We're not saying we don't need a police presence to ensure public safety. We absolutely need public safety. But what we do not need a police force that allows false reporting. Because that actually creates a sense of distrust. It actually increases the chance of violence. And it actually minimizes our ability to create a safe space for individuals. What we need is accountability, both pre and post conviction. Now, post conviction, we know that not all incidents are going to stop. That is our hope, but we want to make sure that individuals that have maintained their innocence have the opportunity to get a conviction review through the district attorney's office where they were arrested. Because it's not fair that only individuals with money or connections or have cases that are DNA cases get their cases reviewed. We know that there are many cases of wrongful arrest and wrongful conviction where there is no DNA to exonerate people. And that is hurtful for individuals who don't have the means to fight. So we want it to be an automatic process through the district attorney's office that they review all of the cases where innocence is maintained, regardless of an individual's ability to afford an appeal or not. Fifth, we want to protect our immigrant class. We want to protect our immigrant population. We no longer want individuals to be deported while there are charges pending. Because if we have a problem of false reporting, we need to ensure that all of the T's and I's are crossed with these cases before we send these individuals out of the country, away from their families, and in many cases, individuals are brought to the United States as children, and they don't know what life is like in their countries of origin. So we want to protect these individuals and not have deportations while proceedings are still going. Last but not least, we want a data management system. Because as you all see in the media, officers and civilians who commit heinous acts against innocent people can go from one municipality or town or city unscathed. There is no accountability. They can go somewhere else and start completely different lives. And no one will know about the mess that they've left behind. So we want to create a registry for individuals who have been known to file false reports against individuals. Because if this database exists, the officers who were involved in our arrest will not take those actions against us knowing that they're leaving a trail. And if they decide to leave the NYPD, they will not be able to find jobs anywhere else because that database will follow them. And it's not scrubbable, meaning you can't erase the names. So these are the things that we're pushing for Senator Kevin Parker to do. These are the ways to ensure public safety while also ensuring accountability. Because these people, the officers, have taken oaths to protect and serve. And that's exactly what we want them to do. We want these officers to protect innocent people against false reporting by civilians and law enforcement. And we need your help. So what we need you all to do is check out the scan, the QR code, sign our petition, circulate the petition widely. We are nearly at 5,000 signatures, and we need more. We need more signatures to go to Senator Kevin Parker and insist that he look at our cases and our proposal and make the changes we need to get justice. Thank you. Next up, we have the other co-founder, Anthony Dulce.
All right, Anthony.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Anthony Dulce. I'm one of the co-founders of the Stop False Police Reporting Group and one of the co-authors of the Stop False Police Reporting Initiative. Mr. Let's try that again. Before I make my announcement, I would like to take a moment to say thank you to the following people who are here today to speak and the organizations that are partnering with us. Martin Luther King Democratic Club, National Action Network, Jeffrey Deskovic, William Allen, Victor Pate, Derek Hamilton, United Black Caucus, Comrade Curtis, Felix Guzman, Theano Sisse, and Jean Anthony Edwards. Let's give them a round of applause. And I'd also like to take a moment to say congratulations to newly elected Cordell Clear State Senator and Alvin Bragg, our newly elected Manhattan District Attorney. The first thing that I'd like to talk to you about today, about the Stop False Police Reporting Group, is that we are not anti-police. We honor the NYPD who are putting their lives at risk every day to protect people in this city. We applaud them. But we have to acknowledge we also have a problem with some bad apple police officers who are making this city very unsafe and very dangerous for innocent people. We have to make that acknowledgement. We have to talk about that truth that we're dealing with in our society. Because some of us are a little bit in denial about what's going on with false police reporting. And we have to protect the most innocent, most vulnerable people in this city. And it is up to us to hold them accountable. It is up to each and every one of us to speak out against this type of injustice that is destroying innocent people's lives. And once one person is incarcerated for a crime they didn't commit, the family, the friends, and everyone around them are also wrongfully incarcerated into that system. So we're here today to speak out against false police reporting by civilians and law enforcement. The first provision in our initiative is uniformity, which allows both criminal charges for both civilians and law officers. And when you look at the current 911 false police reporting bill by Senator Kevin Parker, it's not there. There's no mention of NYPD, government officials, and we need to add them there. We need to acknowledge they too are also part of the problem with false police reporting. Second provision, felony for protected classes of people. People of color, people from the LGBTQ community like myself, people with a physical and a mental disability are the most vulnerable people and the most targeted by false police reporting. And we need to send a clear message to civilians and law enforcement that it will not be tolerated. And if you dare falsify a police report against one of these protected classes of people, we're going to slap you and charge you with a felony. We need to step up. We need to step up the game on this crime. And we need to let them know loud and clear it's not going to be tolerated. Third, I'm going to talk about transparency. The defendant's right to know is our third provision. When I was wrongfully arrested in 2018 and 2019, it took me 1 year to get all the criminal charges dismissed. And at the end, all I was given in the mail was a tiny white piece of paper saying my case was dismissed, with no answers, no explanations, no reason why my family was dragged through these false allegations for 1 year.
Shame.
Yes. So, provision number 3, the prosecutor must put in writing why the case was dismissed. The prosecutor needs to seek the truth both from the plaintiff and the defendant in the case as well, and at the end put it in writing. Provision number 4 deals with police accountability both pre and post conviction. And 5 is immigration. We do not want people who are undocumented to be deported under a false police report by civilian or law enforcement. So that needs to stop. Okay? And 6, and finally, is the data management. Why is this so important? It's so important because, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the district attorney's website, guess what? It doesn't exist. No statistics, no numbers, nothing. So how can we track and record who is doing this crime if they're not doing the job of following who's doing this type of crime? So we want to create data management to track and record, and if you are caught doing false police reporting, civilians and law officers, your name is going on that list, ladies and gentlemen. So this initiative that we're working on is going to save lives. It's going to make this city a lot safer. And I will say loud and clear that no police officer has anything to fear from the initiative that we're working on if you are doing an honest and accurate job protecting this city. You have nothing to fear. And lastly, I would like to say that one of the reasons why I decided to start this group with Tawana and Ibrahim Berry is because the truth is we weren't being heard. We were crying out for help to our politicians, and no one was doing anything about our cases, namely some of the local politicians here in New York City. So we decided to create this group last year and work on these 6 changes that we want to add to the current 911 false police reporting bill. This initiative was based and inspired by the story of Ibrahim Berry, who was wrongfully deported out of this country under a false alias, and also Tyreek Guilford, who was wrongfully incarcerated for a crime, and incarcerated for 6.5 years for a crime that he didn't commit. And I want you to think about that for a moment. Prison, incarceration, a place of hell where terrible things happen. Rape, people are being killed, and imagine an innocent person being placed there on purpose. This is an evil crime that we are talking about. And cops should not be putting innocent people there behind the bars where they don't belong. And lastly, I want to share a little personal story about something that happened to my husband on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. We were living on the Upper West Side of Manhattan for several years at a building called Dorchester Tower, which is a luxury high-rise building. And we were living there for several years without a single complaint until a new property manager started working there who felt that we were not the kind of gay people who belong in this luxury building. And when our landlord renewed our lease for another 2 years, she didn't like this decision, and she threatened to sue my homeowner if she doesn't kick us out. And when we fought the eviction process, the property management office of this building started filing false police reports, and I was dragged out of my home on 8 occasions and taken either to jail or to a mental facility where I don't belong. In total, they filed 31 police reports against my family as a form of harassment. And I know this number because I sued the NYPD after they refused to do my FOIA request. I took them to court and single-handedly won, and I told the judge, I said, the police do not have the right to turn down my FOIA request. That is law. I am allowed to have this information. And when I got the documents, I couldn't believe 31 times that my husband and I had contact with the police when it should have never happened. Their false police reporting caused our front door to be broken down twice. Dorchester Tower also hired off-duty police officers to stand in front of our door for 6 months. And when we would come in and out of our home, the officer would say, you have 2 minutes to clear the hallway or we're going to call the police on you. Those last 6 months were so abusive of power. And this is another example of how landlords use the police as a weapon against tenants that they don't like. My name is Anthony Dosey, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you that are here. We will be heard. We will fight. We will get these changes made. I am fully committed. The Stop False Police Reporting Group is fully committed to this cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Again, I'm Dr. Tawana, and I am one of the co-founders of the Stop False Police Reporting Group. Again, I am the sister of an individual who was wrongfully incarcerated for 6.5 years. And false police reporting by civilian officers hurt the individuals, and it also hurts the families. I love my brother so much that I stood with him the entire time. To support him throughout his incarceration. So I want you all to be aware of wrongful incarceration and how it hurts the communities. It hurts the individuals, and it hurts the communities, and it hurts families. We need our resources to stay here, not to support prisons that wrongfully incarcerate our loved ones. So next up are individuals that have been impacted by wrongful arrest, wrongful conviction, or support the cause, because we can't do this work alone. We have allies in the field in the struggle with us, and they support us and they've uplifted us. So next up, we're going to have Jeffrey Deskovic of the Deskovic Foundation.
Thank you. My name is Jeffrey Deskovic, and I'm the founder of the Jeffrey Deskovic Foundation for Justice, which frees wrongfully convicted people. We've gotten 13 people home and that have been wrongfully imprisoned, and we also push policy changes aimed at preventing wrongful conviction from happening in the first place. I'm also an attorney. I engaged in this advocacy work and continue to do that because it happened to me. I was arrested in Westchester at age 16 for a murder and rape, which I did not commit. I turned 17 shortly before the trial started, at which I was wrongfully convicted of a murder and rape, despite the DNA not matching me. One of those factors which caused the wrongful conviction was a false police report in which the police fabricated a statement and attributed it to me. So I lost the trial. I was given a 15 to life sentence. I was sent to a men's maximum security prison where I remained for the next 16 years prior to being proven innocent through further DNA testing via the data bank, which not only reaffirmed the prior negative result, but it also identified the actual perpetrator who left free while I was doing time for his crime. He killed a second victim just 3.5 years later, who was a school teacher and who had 2 children. So false police reporting not only damages the individual and their families, as was already mentioned by other speakers, but in a larger sense, it also puts society at risk, as in an actual perpetrator can be free to strike again, as in people don't trust the police anymore. And so rather than calling the police to report crime and report being victims, they figure it's safe not to. And that leaves lawless individuals free to continue to run amok and commit other crimes, victimizing other people. Speaking to the frequency of wrongful conviction, my case was not a rarity. I wish that it was. Per the National Registry of Exoneration, there have been close to 3,000 people from 1989 forward who've been wrongfully convicted. That's to say nothing at all about people who have simply been falsely accused. There is no database for that. So there's no way of knowing how many people have been falsely accused, but the injustices were halted prior to the ultimate culmination of a wrongful conviction. When you think about why we need this to be a felony, false police reporting, whether by law enforcement or by civilians, you think about what the motivations are. Right now, if a civilian or law enforcement takes a stand and they commit perjury, it's merely a misdemeanor, which is punishable by a year or less, which if you're convicted of, you don't even do the whole year. There's time less than that. A misdemeanor and the consequences that flow from that are not enough to restrain anybody. When you think about what motivations are from people, it could be somebody who was in a romantic relationship and they're not happy the way it ended or that it ended. And so they resort to making a false accusation as a way of getting back. It could be that a mother or a father wants sole custody of a child. And so if I can get the other person out of the way by making a false allegation against them, so much the better. It could be, and this has happened in some of the wrongful conviction cases for rape, that somebody that has a girlfriend or a boyfriend, they fool around with somebody other than their partner, and then to cover for themselves, oh, I was raped. That's a motivation. Some of the speakers before have mentioned before just sexual orientation. You know, just hatred, whether it's color, sexual orientation, these are all other motivations as to why people would make false police reports. There needs to be consequences for actions. False police reporting is not all that dissimilar from what's known in the innocence movement as incentivized witnessing or lying informants, also called snitch testimony, which has caused wrongful convictions in 15% of the DNA-proven wrongful convictions. It's very rare that anybody is punished for doing that. Very rare. Even prosecutors, when they submit affidavits to the court, oh, this person testifying didn't get any benefit. That's a sworn statement. Often that's proven to be false, and there's no consequences there either. So we're saying nobody should be above the law. Everybody should be held accountable. All of us should be safe. All the people next to me and the ones they represent and other people are not here, we all have a right to be safe. Safe from law enforcement, safe from other civilians. We should not be victimized by crimes. And that's what all these things are. They're crimes. Nobody should ever have to experience what I experienced or any of the other people here today and those affected similarly that couldn't make it today. So I'm just here to humanize it, to put some flesh and blood to it. And look, it happened to me, and it can happen to any one of you. Speaking of which, I also wear my other hat, where the National Coalition Group, It Could Happen to You, stands, which I'm an advisory board member, also stands in solidarity with Stop False Police Reporting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Chaplain Victor Pate of Holt Solitary and Nance Second Chance Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tawana. Thank you, everybody, for coming here. And I was just listening to my fellow comrades and they were speaking. And I guess I speak from a different platform. And I stand in solidarity with them and support with what they're doing, amplifying and bringing awareness to this particular issue. But the platform that I speak from speaks from the interconnectivity of false police reporting. I don't claim that I was falsely convicted. I stand up to what I did. And I did what they said I did. However, the collateral consequences of that, it plays out in so many different arenas and in so many different levels. What am I talking about? So you're talking about false police reporting out here in society. Well, guess what? You have false correctional officers reporting inside the homes. Which as a result, I wound up in solitary confinement. So when you talk about false police reporting, there is a wide range of interconnectivity and there's a wide range of collateral damages. And you heard my colleagues speak about what those collateral damages is. Think about the collateral damages to people that are incarcerated when you get charged with something that you really didn't do. You wind up getting a ticket and or either you wind up in solitary confinement. What does that mean? That affects your ability to get paroled. So what often happens, people are held for longer periods of time in prisons than they should be because of false correctional officers reporting. So there is a wide range of interconnectivity when you're talking about false police reporting. So when you think about that, there is a wide range of things that can happen to people, oftentimes destroying their lives and destroying the lives of their families and their loved ones. This is why we need to get behind this. We need to get our politicians behind this. We need to get legislation passed, and we need to make accountability for false police reporting, as my comrade said, whether it be by a civilian or whether it be by a law enforcement officer. Nobody is above the law, and nobody should be above accountability. Each and every one of us should be held to a level of accountability, and there is accountability that we all should be responsible for. My name is Victor Pate, Chairman of the Second Chance Committee International Network. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Next up, we have Comrade Donald Curtis of Unified Black Caucus.
This is the Unified Black Caucus, as she said. We are here for two reasons today. We're here to stop false police reporting. And the reason I'm here is another reason. I served 35 years in prison for murder. I've only been out 2.5 years. No one should ever have to suffer the horrors that I suffered, and I was rightfully convicted. I did the crime. I never denied it. To experience what I experienced, to be guilty, but for one who is innocent, to experience even one day of that horror is something you can never get back. The Unified Black Caucus supports this movement. We stand behind it. We show up at every protest. No one is above the law. All too often, local politicians and politicians in high places disregard these abuses. The police are not above the law. The police have no right to commit a crime against any citizen. And they must be haunted with checks and balances. If our politicians that's duly elected will not do it, then we will come out in full force and protest and demand and civil disobedience until the laws are enacted to punish the police in the same vein as you punish the guilty. Not only that, we want to upgrade in the sentencing for anybody for false reporting. The time and the sentence that the person that was falsely accused and falsely convicted served, I want that time doubled for the person that filed a false complaint. They should serve it double. And we stand with this movement. We'll support it, rain, snow, sleet, hurricane, or whatever. When the sister called me, I'm coming. If I'm not here, it's because I can't get here and I have another engagement. But no one should suffer the horrors of any prison. I lived it for 35 years and I'm not healed yet. But guess what? I'm healed enough to come out and support this worthy cause. Peace and love. Unified Black Caucus.
I want y'all to understand what Comrade and my colleagues up here just mentioned. You all have heard the range of experiences, and we have 2 additional individuals who will be speaking. When individuals are returned from incarceration or wrongful incarceration, when individuals' cases have been dismissed, there are no mental health services and no supports available for these individuals to help them put their lives back on track. And this is why we need you all to help us get these laws passed. Because we need accountability, but we also need support for these people that are returning home. We need help for the families in putting their lives back together from being derailed by the injustices in this system. Next up, we have Felix Guzman.
So hello everybody, my name is Felix Guzman. I'm a proud community organizer with Vocal New York, and also a City Council Commissioner of Community Organizing for Rikers Island. So in 2016, I actually had the occasion of meeting someone when I had a nervous breakdown in the hospital, who I befriended, who actually turned out to be someone who was committing all manner of fraud. I put this person up in a hotel room. I let her stay at my mom's house, got her food, got her clothing, took her the resources. And what this person was actually doing was creating lawsuits, at the same time also creating situations where she was a victim or a crime witness so she could get immigration asylum. I had this person, and I did not try to I did not try to do anything to this person. I actually did everything with good intentions, and this person actually abandoned their property in my mom's house to make it seem like I stole the property. She was able to actually file a false police report with the NYPD saying grand larceny, and with that false police report, she was actually able to set up a civil lawsuit against me, which she actually won because I had no verifiable proof that I did not steal the property, as the NYPD and the district attorney failed to respond to any of my communications, providing a voucher or so forth. And it's unfortunate that for me having been justice impacted and serving time in prison, she actually used that to her advantage with the NYPD to force a situation where her criminal complaint was actually heard. And as a result of that, I actually had a situation where I was wellness checked as a result of the trauma that I was going through, where I almost actually got killed by the police themselves. So it goes to show that with a false police report, anything is possible, that the outcome can actually happen. And when you actually put someone in harm's way just for a personal power play, for their own personal motive, and it's understandable that people want to be in this country, but to actually throw someone under the bus just for personal profit and gain is horrendous. Imagine doing the right thing and actually being exploited for that and being put in harm's way, and then the NYPD and the district attorney failed to respond to any communications proving that I didn't steal anything, and now I have a $5,000 lawsuit against me that I'm appealing in the process because I wasn't able to get a lawyer at the present moment or actually get assistance. And I actually have a case that's actually being heard on the 22nd, so I'm ready for that case. I'm not actually as gullible as I was before, and it goes to show that there needs to be some accountability for what happens when people actually file false police reports, because if there's no accountability, then people can actually freely go ahead and continue to be vexatious litigants and just go ahead and do this for a living. And for the NYPD to allow this to happen, for someone who actually purposely and sufficiently actually goes about trying to prove that redemption is possible, I'm really disappointed in how the system works and actually empowers people who falsify reports for personal gain. My life was in danger, and it's taken me a lot of time to actually come back to be a healed individual, to be in a healed place, to actually be speaking about this, because I, for one, believe that redemption is possible, and that there's a way for everyone to make good on what outcomes were healthy in the past. But it goes to show that a person needs an opportunity to get there. So with that being said, thank you for listening to me, and I want to go ahead and applaud the Stop False Police Reporting Coalition as they're doing amazing work, and I stand in full solidarity. Thank you.
Again, I'd like to thank you all for standing with us today. Last but not least, we have a relative of an individual that was wrongfully deported to another country. And I'll allow him to speak about his family situation. There no, sissy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Dr. Tawana, for giving us the opportunity to come here and represent our family member who's currently not here because of false police reporting. And as my colleagues already mentioned here before, this is the outcome of his case, actually. And it seems like everything is already settled, and we're actually trying to fight to get him back into the country because of he was wrongfully sent back to another country where he doesn't belong under a different identity. That's not him. And I would just like to point out, sometimes people do things, for the purpose of having power over somebody, and like you might think it's personal between just you and that person. However, like it affects the people around that person. Maybe not even their own family members, their friends, or other things that they have going on. And I've known my cousin for like years, right? Obviously, he's my cousin, we're family. But the type of person that he was sure. Before all those things happened and he was deported, we were actually working on trying to make our lives better, making our families' lives better. And he actually has a daughter, which was the main reason why he was out here just trying to do better every single day. Granted, he did make some mistakes in the past, but that doesn't give the rights to anybody to just judge him and wrongfully accusing him of things that should not have happened at all. And these are things that we really want change, because law enforcement and the higher ups know these things are happening, but nobody's choosing to do anything about it. And even if you do speak up on it, they're making it kind of seem like you're attacking. We're not attacking. We just want a little bit of change that can help better our lives. So yeah.
Are there any organizations that committed that I'm missing out on? Okay, so we'd like to thank you all for standing with us. The rain is about to come. Be sure to scan our petition QR code. It'll take you directly to the link, the change.org link, and share our petition with others. Please encourage others to join the movement, to join us at our next coming rallies. Sign a petition, and we also go out to other organizations to speak and support. So please continue to support the Stop False Police Reporting group, because as you see, lives are impacted. Not just the individuals, but families' lives as well. Again, I'd like to say congratulations to the Stop False Police Reporting group. We are 2 days away from our 1-year anniversary. And we are grateful to have you all standing with us. And we hope that with support and with changes in the legislation, we will continue to grow. Everyone, thank you. Stay dry. Be safe. And we love you.
If everybody wants to join for a group picture, that would be really helpful.
If anyone wants to join us for a group picture, we would love that. And we'd like to thank News 12 for covering our story. We are so grateful for you.